Okay, so I knew that talking to Jessie James Decker's beautiful mama would be a lot of fun, but Karen Parker is so much more than the gorgeous, spunky lady that you may have seen on reality TV or in the Kittenish ads for her and Jessie's clothing line. Karen is a great mom. She's full of wisdom and advice and the most beautiful Maw Maw I have ever seen. Yep, that's her grandma name. Find out why it's so special to her and so much more in this episode of Got It From My Momma. Karen, I am so excited to get to talk to you. And I honestly, from having interviewed Jessie before, I feel like I'm sitting here with her. I know you hear that probably a lot.
I do sometimes.
Yeah, you guys look alike, you sound alike, and have very similar mannerisms.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
It's so nice to meet you.
Thank you so much. And I guess because I said that, I want to start with, what would you say Jessie got from her mama?
Oh my goodness, how much time do we have? I would hope maybe her kindness.
I love that.
She's always been an extremely thoughtful child. And, if someone at school was having a difficult time, she would be the girl that would help them. And, she never made fun of kids. She always just wanted to love on people. And I don't know, I'd like to think that I kind of helped nurture that quality.
Yeah, so not only the physical appearance, but the heart behind it as well. So you have 3 children, so tell me a little bit about your family.
Okay, so my oldest is Jessica, of course, and then Sydney, and then John. And they're just all so incredibly wonderful, unique, and different and successful children. And they've accomplished things that I never even dreamed to accomplish myself. It's almost like each of my children achieved my dreams through them. So my dreams have come true through my children.
That's amazing. Yeah. And that really is the best feeling.
It is.
And I say it all the time, but we get the front row seat to seeing these dreams come true for our children, which just...
I'm side stage.
It means so much. So,
I'd rather be side stage.
I'm usually out in the pit somewhere at a show or something like that, just because I love to see what the audience sees, that same kind of thing. And I don't know about you, but when Connor's performing, I almost feel like I'm watching someone else.
Really?
Like I'm such a fan of him as an artist that I really can kind of put myself in a fan zone. But when he's on stage, it's like I'm watching someone else because it's a little surreal.
Is it really?
Yeah.
So how long has he been performing?
He's been performing, kind of like Jessie in that he started writing at a really early age and singing. And then...
Did he play an instrument to help write?
He did when he was about 8 years old. He asked to take guitar lessons. And I thought, he's too young. Who's going to want to teach an 8-year-old whose fingers can barely reach across?
Well, Forrest is learning now. And he's just 4. Do you remember the first song he wrote?
Are you interviewing me? This is awesome. Okay, we're going to say welcome to the podcast featuring. I love it. I love it. What did you ask me?
Do you remember the first song that he wrote?
Yes, I do. We'd gone to the Grand Ole Opry and Hal Ketchum was playing that night.
Right.
And it wasn't someone that, a young kid would probably relate to or feel, but he sang the song Shore Love. And we went home that night and Connor got his guitar. He was 6 or 7. That was way bigger than he was. We had not started, music lessons or anything like that. And he wrote his own version, kept the melody, and he wrote his own version of that song. I didn't know right then, but I knew that once he was bit by that bug, I knew because it didn't stop. You have 3 children.
Yes.
Your son lives in Houston.
He does.
But then you're so fortunate to have both your girls here in Nashville.
I do.
You guys made the change to move here just a couple of years ago.
We did. So my husband, Steve, served for 37 and a half years in the Air Force. And I'm just so very proud of the sacrifices. He tells me it was a calling.
That's amazing.
And it has to be a calling, to do something like that. And so we moved around quite a bit, but I loved it. I embraced it. I was one of those wives that was like, where are we going next?
Yeah.
Let me know where we're going next. And anyway, so our last duty station was Georgia. And so we'd always planned on moving to Florida and retiring there. But at that point, all 3 of the children were here. And Jessica said, Mama, we have a house in Florida. You'll always have a key to it. Please, please move here. And so Steve and I, we were actually looking at homes in Florida at this point. And we're like, okay, we'll do it. And so then COVID happened. And so we're homeless. We have nowhere to live. We were in their Florida house at the time. And we quickly found a house and moved in. And so, you know, I think we pray for things and we hope for things. And sometimes those prayers are answered. And then other times God gives us things that we didn't even pray for, things we never even dreamed we'd have.
Yeah.
And so Sydney lives 5 houses down with her family. And so we may not be in the exact same house and place we want to be, but the greater blessing is having them so close.
I
We
love
go on
that.
walks together. We hang out. It's just wonderful.
Where were each of the 3 kids born? I know that you've lived around the world,
I
right?
have, yeah. Well, not really around the world. It's only in Europe and Hawaii and around the States.
Okay.
But Jessica was born in Italy. Sydney was born in Idaho. And John was born in Texas.
So let's go way back to when you first started seeing this love and passion for music in a really young girl.
You know, it's so strange because when Jessica was an infant, I remember she's in her crib, and I would hear her making the most beautiful sounds, the most beautiful coos, you know, you know.
Yeah, those sweet
I was
baby
going to
sounds.
try to let you, but there's no way I can do that. But these little coos and sounds, and I think what I noticed most of all was not only were they beautiful, but I knew she was listening to herself. So it was the I knew she would make this sound, and I knew she was listening to the sound. And it struck me, but at that point I never thought, you know, she's going to be a singer. I just thought, well, this is interesting. And I had a lot of fun with her. So she and I spent a lot of time together because we were just alone a lot. So we went everywhere together. I spoke to her as if she were, you know, a real human, an adult. And so I feel like it kind of helped develop her language skills early. And then I noticed that she liked to sing. And so we got her this little toy microphone and, you know, the old-fashioned ones, the little tape player.
Yeah, like almost a little karaoke machine with the mic and the
little tiny
cassettes.
thing. And she would sing to that. And then I got her this tape of Leanne Rimes. Do you remember the song Blue?
Oh, yeah, for
Okay.
sure.
So she learned to yodel listening to Leanne Rimes sing Blue.
Ah.
And when she was 9 years old, she entered her first talent competition. And I got her hair all big and everything. She had this little blue jean vest and her little red high-top Converse tennis shoes. And she got out there, and I told her, she's also very coachable. She's so wonderful in that I can tell her things and her feelings don't get hurt. So I think that is such an incredible quality to have.
Take direction. Yes, absolutely.
So because she loved and trusted me so much, I could say, Jess, that wasn't right, or that note, or however I say it. She never took offense. She would just take the notes and do better. And so I would kind of coach her back then and show her all the movements and the silliness that I knew how to do back then. And I remember saying to her, Jessica, when you're performing, make sure you look over at the judges and you wink at them too. And she did it all. Like, she did it all. And not only did she win her category, but she won the entire competition, which has never happened in the history of the competition.
Oh, wow.
After that, she was like, I want to sing. And I knew she wouldn't be happy unless she was singing. So it was never about becoming a star. It was never any of those words were used. It was, Mama, my throat feels good when I sing.
Oh, wow.
And that was the way she articulated it. And I knew she wouldn't be happy unless she was singing. So we're like, let's go.
So at this age, where were you living?
At this point, I was living in Louisiana.
Okay. And so did you know anything about the music business or what you were going to do to help support this girl that wanted to do this?
That process of coming to Nashville didn't start yet.
Okay.
So then I moved to Texas to take a job. I was actually hosting a children's program.
Oh.
Yes. So I
No
moved.
wonder you started interviewing me. Okay.
So anyway, we go there, and then she continues to sing through my contacts. So HEB was the company that sponsored my program. And so they'd have events, and they would ask Jess to sing. And then I remember the very first time, and I got her guitar lessons with a little plastic guitar. And I remember the very first time she sang was at this little radio station, obscure radio station out in Bexar County. And she went inside and she sang the song that she wrote. And I ran outside of the car and I turned on the little radio so I could hear her singing. And this was like, she was probably 11
Okay.
or something like that. But we continued that process, and she would sing at every little podunk festival, every contest, the Colgate Country Showdown. So every opportunity there was for her to perform or to enter a contest, we did it.
So you were helping her like find the gigs
Oh,
and book and
absolutely.
take her, and you were
Yes,
kind of a
yes.
little bit of a momager when she was younger.
I was.
Yeah.
But I didn't, I think that has sort of a negative connotation, that word, sometimes.
Yeah, no, I agree. I actually don't like it when people ask me, "Oh, are you the momager?" Because, no, I'm his biggest cheerleader, but I will do anything to support.
Right.
And in the early days, like you, I was
You
the
have
one
to do those
going and getting
things.
in line with him at the Bluebird to sing at an open mic night, taking him to Puckett's at 10 years old. The
Oh
same
my
thing.
gosh.
Yeah, yeah.
Isn't that just wonderful?
Oh, absolutely. I'd go back in a heartbeat to those
Yeah.
days. They were so
Oh.
special, and nothing beats the pride now of playing in front of huge audiences
Yeah.
as it did watching the 10-year-old with
Right.
confidence get up in front of 50 people at Puckett's.
Yeah. Well, even now, Jess and I still talk about, her career aspirations and her goals. And, there's just that drive inside of her. And I remind her, it is these moments, it's every little moment. And that's for anyone with any type of dream. It is not just the destination. Sometimes that journey is more special than the destination. So don't lose sight of that. Don't keep thinking about what's coming next, what I need to do next, how I'm going to be successful this way. Think about each little moment, each little success of all the things you dreamed about. Because if you look back, you're probably already living that dream and more than you ever imagined.
Wow.
So don't take those moments for granted.
I love that. What would you say? It might be what you just said because that's pretty darn good. But what do you think is the best advice you've ever given Jessie as a mom?
I don't know necessarily my best advice was related to career, but I remember when she was a little girl, and this isn't my line, but I steal it now. I'd interviewed this old lady, this woman who was an old vaudeville performer. And I was asking her questions because Jessica was, working on her craft. And I remember we were in Austin, and there were these beautiful old-fashioned mirrors with the light bulbs. And she's looking in the mirror, and she's getting ready. And I admired her so much. And I said, what is it? What is it that made you and allowed you to achieve your dreams? And she said, my mama said to me, you have to see it, to believe it, to achieve it.
Wow.
And I never forgot those words. And those are the words that I told all of my children. You have to see it, to believe it, to achieve it. And if you can do that, you can make any dream come true.
Wow, that is great advice for anyone. Yeah, no matter how big the dream is or what it
Right.
is. I love that. You are full of wisdom. She's a lucky girl.
And another thing is when people talk to you about, oh, that's not going to happen. Do you know how many people make it? Do you know how many people want to be a star or a singer or whatever it is, a soccer player? Do you know how many people want to do those things? And I remember, one of the great things was I was ignorant. I didn't know the statistics. I didn't know any of those things. I cared not about any of them. And I think if you can do that with your dreams and stop letting all those facts or negative comments or people don't believe in you or people who want to hamper your dreams because they didn't have the courage to follow their own. It was like we were blind to it. I'm just like, do it. What's the next step? Here's what we're going to do next. Like, it was never a question to me whether or not she was going to achieve that dream.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Sometimes ignorance is a gift.
Bliss,
yeah.
isn't
But
it?
ignorance is
Yeah.
bliss. Yes, absolutely. You mentioned something to me the other day when we were just talking a little bit to get to know each other. But it's one of my favorite things that you said. But you told me that as you were raising your children, you did research on, I guess, family communication and talk about what you guys went and purchased for a very specific reason.
So Steve and I had just gotten married, and so it was a blended family. And he and I so strongly believe in family. And so we did research on the best, and we were buying new furniture. So this was a big thing. We had our first house together, and we went to North Carolina because we do everything, where it's the most cost effective. So we knew going to North Carolina and ordering our stuff was the way to go.
Yeah.
So anyway, and we still do that. But we did research on the best type of dinner table for conversations. And what we found was the round table. The round table is the best sort of table to create conversations around. So no matter what, and we still have that table today, we wanted to get a round table. And so the kids had busy schedules, and Steve was extremely busy. At one point, he had to drive 2 hours to work and home, fly like 2 or 3 times a day, and still we managed to have dinner at night between all of their activities, whether it was soccer or, all of that. Sydney ran track and played volleyball. And we'd sit at that table, and teenagers, they don't want to talk to you sometimes.
Oh yeah,
you
might have to pull it out.
But a lot of times they just don't. They don't want to talk to you, or rather, they think they don't want to talk to you. So was just a rule, and the phones were down, and we sat around the table and we'd ask questions. What was the best part of your day? Just little questions like that, and you would be surprised. Once you get a teenager or any child to start speaking about their day, let them have the floor. Let them speak. Don't stifle that. Give them an opportunity to share with you. And then they'd start just lighting up. And it was something they looked forward to. They wanted to talk to us. Ultimately, children want your attention. Mm-hmm. And if you're not going to give them good attention, then they're going to get some bad attention. And they're going to misbehave. So why not give them the good attention that they really desire? And I think that's the one thing our kids want more than anything is our time and our attention.
Absolutely.
And we did it around that round table.
Let's fast forward to when things really started happening. So at some point, I guess Jessie made the move to Nashville.
So one of the things that helped us, we were in Destin. It's our favorite place to vacation as a family. And we were down there, and Jessica was singing. There was someone singing with a guitar, and we were always like, go sing, go ask people to sing. And it's so funny because they never know what to expect. And then she gets up there and rips one out like Janis Joplin, and everyone's their mouths are open.
Wait a minute.
So someone was singing, and she got up there and sang. And then afterwards, a woman came over. Her name was Stephanie, and she was a wonderful lady. And she came over and she said, I like the way you sing. And she's a songwriter. And she said, I want you to start coming to Nashville. So we would come to Nashville, and she would start introducing her to people. We ended up being introduced to Garth Fundis, who's wonderful. He produced Trisha Yearwood.
Yeah.
And he worked for Jess for a while. And I think all of those steps really helped Jessica grow as an artist. And it didn't happen overnight. So I think sometimes, people think, oh, it automatically happened. It took, from the time she was a little girl working to coming to Nashville from the time she was about 14. She did get her first record deal when she was 19.
Oh, wow.
Right out of high school. And that's when things really started taking off. But I think it was through the songwriting. So she wrote with John Rich, and she wrote a song called My Cowboy. And that song made it to L.A. Reid.
Oh, wow.
And so he offered her a record deal, but she's country. And she's like, but I want a country record deal. And he said, we're going to make a country album. So they really ended up not really making the country album that she had dreamed of, but he believed in her so much, and she went on tour. She actually opened for the Jonas Brothers, but I think she's on her 3rd or 4th record deal now. So,
okay, yeah, the ebbs and the flows, and inevitably, especially in between, and I think for these artists kind of looking for their next home, how did you guide her with your wisdom through the disappointments that come along with being in this business?
It's true, but even today, whenever things don't turn out exactly the way that she hopes they would, because radio's a challenge. It's such a challenge, especially for females, and it's still, she's trying so hard, and she just released a song with Billy Currington, and it's my favorite song ever.
Really?
Oh my gosh, have you heard it?
I have not heard it, but I saw something last week about it. Yeah.
And
is it a ballad?
It is a ballad.
Okay. Billy's one of my favorite voices in country music. He's so talented.
Hands down the best voice ever. But they've known each other since she was very young, since she was a teenager. And she actually walked up to him one day and said, I'm going to open for you. He was playing in Georgia, and she was at an event. She said, I'm open for you one day. He said, all right, girl. And he introduced her to Carla Wallace, the big yellow dog.
Yes, which
and
is a
that
big
started,
part of her
yeah,
story,
so
for
that
sure.
started. But I think even today, when things don't go exactly the way she wants, I mean, it's with anything in life. If you can't change your circumstances, you only can change your attitude. So stop focusing on those things and focus on all the beautiful blessings. I just think it's such a waste to focus on disappointments, because then how's that going to make you feel?
Where'd that confidence come
Disappointed.
from of her walking up to Billy Currington, of her saying, this is what I'm going to do one day? Is that also from her mama?
I just think that every child is different. Some are more shy than others. But I think that if you have a child that you can instill confidence in, and they feel secure in who they are, then they have the ability to walk up and do those things. And some kids it takes longer. Like John is also very confident. Sydney was more shy, but you never know that today.
Yeah.
That girl can walk into a room and she's Miss Things. So
Yeah, and it's interesting how that can change.
It really is.
It's almost sad to label a young child like, oh,
Yep.
they're shy, oh, they're
Yep.
this. And we dealt with that same thing until Connor put a guitar in his hand at 4 years old. He was that kid that would cling to my leg
Oh, my
and look down at the
goodness.
ground when
Yeah.
people spoke to him. And I'm very
Wow.
outgoing, so I'm like, who is this child?
Yep.
What is, But then this thing came out in him, and I really believe music helped to bring that out in him.
Yeah.
His whole personality just blossomed, and then now he's so engaging with people, and it's a real quality, a skill set that he has.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Isn't
love
that wonderful to watch?
Oh my goodness, yes. The
Yeah.
whole journey is just watching them evolve into these amazing adults, and this
Yeah.
part of the journey is fun too.
Yeah,
as
of
much as
course.
we loved mothering our young ones, don't you
Yeah.
love this adult relationship with?
Yeah, like, people, or even Jessica will say, gosh, can you believe how old we're getting? Or people ask, do you miss those times? And honestly, I don't really miss them, because if you live in the moment with your children and you truthfully enjoy each and every phase of motherhood, then you don't long for those moments, because you're living them and you're not wasting them.
That is so true.
So when they were little, I was the mom who I love babies, But then toddlers, I love the sassy little toddlers who want to dress themselves. And then I love the new school days, and, when they started brownies or whatever it is that they're getting into, or when John played soccer, like we were all in. We were at, the soccer fields the entire weekend between the 3 kids. And that was the other thing. Each child would be there to support their sibling. So even Jess as a teenager, Sydney as a preteen, on Saturday morning, we were watching John play soccer.
That was important to you.
Yes. And you know what? Sometimes I hear parents say, well, they don't want to do this. They didn't want. I'm like, but kids don't know what's best for them. You're the parent. That's your job.
You need to set the priorities.
So they may not want to do this. They may not want to go to practice. All the things they may not want to do, but they don't know what's best for them. You do. So guess what? You're going to sit here and you're going to watch your siblings' games. So we need to make those decisions for them. So I don't miss those days, because they were gifts from God. I lived every moment, and now I get to live the moments of watching my children as parents. And then I get to relive them with their children. So God is good that way.
That's got to be pretty
It's
special.
a wonderful blessing.
What's your grandma name?
Oh, Maw Maw.
You're a Maw Maw?
M-A-W, Maw Maw.
Maw Maw. Oh my goodness. Okay, you are the most glamorous, beautiful Maw Maw I have ever seen.
Oh, thank you.
Did you pick that, or is that what the first grandchild came up with?
I chose it. It was never a question. So I was raised in Louisiana, and everyone pretty much was Mama and Papa. I
Okay.
didn't know that was kind of.
It's the best Southern grandma name.
It's more, Louisiana. That's like what most people were called then. And I think it has sort of like a French Cajun
Origin?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
so. But anyway, it's because my grandmother, Mary Baglio, was an angel. I'm going to tear up.
A special relationship.
Oh my goodness.
Was she your
So,
mama?
She was my mama.
Oh,
And I wanted to be like her.
that's
And
special.
so I think that's why family's so important.
It's an
It's
honor
what
for
she
you to wear
taught
that.
me. And I hope that's the one legacy I leave for my children.
That's special. I'm going to totally switch gears on you.
Good.
Okay.
I'm crying now.
Oh my goodness. I love that you shared that though.
I just love her.
Tell me about the first time that Jessie brought Eric around, or you remember her telling you about.
Oh my goodness.
Do you want me to get you a tissue?
I might need
Okay, let me pause. Tell me about the first time you remember Jessie either telling you about or bringing Eric around. I guess was there a difference in this guy than maybe some of the others?
Yes.
In many ways, right?
Yes.
I mean,
we call
honestly,
those the dark ages.
they are the most beautiful couple. I mean, yes, they're
really
stunning.
great together.
Yes.
They're really great together. So I remember that she told me, because we talk all the time. I talk with all the children all the time. But I remember she had told me about someone who wanted to set her up with this guy, and I think this person was at a dinner, and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm sitting here with this guy. He's so hot. And so I'm like, that's where we're going to start.
That's what they said.
Hot. And so then that person also told Eric about Jess. So they're both Googling each other. Well, they decide to meet in Nashville, and it's really funny. On that particular weekend, I was leaving when Eric was coming in. So we crossed each other in the airport. And I met him. He was very sweet.
You met him in the airport?
Yes.
Like you stopped and said,
Yes.
I'm
So
Jessica's mom?
I met him before, yes. So we crossed paths in the airport. So she's there dropping me off and picking him up.
I know what was in his head. If this girl's anything like the mom I just met, this is going to go well.
Do you know, I never thought of that. That's what he said.
Oh.
So he was like excited. Well, I know what she's going to look like one day. So anyway, that was years ago. So I texted her right after. And I'm going to tell you what I really said, okay?
Okay.
I texted her and I said, Jessica, I know you're going to want to sleep with this guy. I go, but don't do it. I'm like, he's so beautiful.
So I think that was
because they just met,
I think that was your best mom advice you ever gave, Jessica. You need to change the answer to that question.
Like,
wow. So you just flat out let her know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because
Yeah.
we speak that way. And yeah, so anyway, they had a great weekend together, and she cooked for him. And that's another piece of advice that I always say. The way to a man's heart is through his stomach.
This is the Italian in you coming out. That would be the Italian advice,
Both
right?
of those things.
Can your girls cook?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
yes. They cook very, very well.
Awesome. Eric and Jessie get married, and they have this opportunity to do a reality show.
Yeah.
Tell me, from a mom's standpoint, when
Yeah.
she brings this to you and says, we've been presented with this,
Yeah.
I'm sure as close as you are, she wanted to know what you thought about it. So-
Well, actually, that's really not the way it happened.
Okay.
The way that it happened is she's very resourceful, and her music career wasn't going the way that she wanted it to, like as quickly, and she wasn't seeing in her mind the success she wanted to see. So she says, I think I need to do a reality show. That way people can hear my music.
wow.
Yes.
So this is the entrepreneur in
Yes.
her thinking about how to.
More than one way to skin a cat. So she's was that resourceful to know that I need to do this to get my music out and for people to get to know me, because I think sometimes, people will see a person and they'll make a judgment based on the way they look or whatever they might think. And she also thought maybe if people get to know me, then they will like me, because I really am just like this simple girl,
Right.
from Georgia, and understand that my journey really was in country music, because I think there was a misconception in the Nashville music industry that she was really a pop singer saying, I'll be country, but that's not at all what happened. So, but no matter how much you say that, people just they believe what they believe. So
Right.
she thought she could tell the story through the show, and we were supportive.
The blessing of her beauty and her looks, and it's also been a battle for her because of preconceived notions of how can anyone this beautiful.
I think maybe it changed the focus a little bit, so people maybe focused on that. But when people say those things, I immediately want to go, this is such a blessing. So I don't really want to talk about it being a negative thing, because then it just, I don't know, it just starts sounding so negative to me. It's like, this is nothing we need to feel sorry for her for. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
it's a blessing from God to be beautiful on the inside, the outside, you know, however. And I think everybody has beauty in them and appearances as well.
Yeah.
You know, and don't you
Yeah.
think it shines through whenever
Yeah.
people are wonderful? They're just are even more attractive. So I
Yeah.
think everyone's attractive in a certain way. But
But
I
the goal
guess
through the show was for people to see who she was, her heart, and yes,
because
absolutely.
she's not, you know, she wasn't fancy pants.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's not
And
how
when-
she was raised.
You know, after she got a record deal and she would come home, and I'm sure people would be surprised, you know, like, we're like, empty the dishwasher. Like, you still have chores to do around here. And we're still that way.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
in our
Everybody
home.
pitches in.
Yeah,
for
for
sure.
sure.
Yeah.
They don't really listen as much, but
So if she was going to do this reality show, it was going to involve your whole family.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone was going to be impacted. Did you have
Yeah.
fun with it?
Yeah,
Did
it
you
was
enjoy
fun.
it?
I think we had fun. Probably the first season the most. And I think one of the great things is so many things are documented. So when the children were little and those special moments are documented. But towards the end, I think with a lot of the shows, they, especially if the production team changes or the directors, they think they have to create moments. And I think that's where it wasn't fun anymore.
It was fun when it was genuine and authentic, and then when it became a little more scripted, it was not.
It wasn't fun for us at all.
Yeah.
And you know, maybe some people would think it would still be amazing and fun and great, but we're not those people. Like, that's not fun for me. I don't want to wait for you to tell me when to walk in, and if you don't like my reaction, that's not who we are.
Yeah.
I don't want to feign anything.
Yeah.
This is who we are, and it's enough. So if you can't capture that, that's why plus the children, she didn't want to keep doing it with the kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
It was a season. It was
there
fun.
was too
it was
many,
Yeah.
too many interruptions in
Right.
life.
Okay, I want to talk about Dancing with the Stars.
Okay.
Okay, was that as fun as it seems like it would have been, or was that a little stress induced? As you know, we only see the outside and the glam and everything of
Sure,
that.
how honest I should be right now.
That's up to you.
There were great parts of the show.
Yeah.
So the great part are the people that she met. Her partner, Alan, I'm telling you, like, I met this kid. I mean, I guess he's an adult, but I met him, and he instantly felt like a member of our family.
Wow.
Reminded us so much of John. Like, all of us were like, oh my gosh, that's John. Just his personality, he's so amazing. He pushes Jessica really, really, really hard. And I love that about him because she's not used to that. She's not used to someone really pushing her that hard to get those results out of her, because she's in charge now with her career and everything. So was doing that to draw this out of her, and she worked so hard, and they made beautiful dances together. And I think the crew, the makeup people, the hair people, the costume designers, the dancers, phenomenal. So in that respect, it was a beautiful experience. I also liked the part where Jess wanted her mama again.
Oh.
So, you know, I've taken a step back from that because she has her family, and I'm just sort of the person, I want to be where people want me to be when they need me. So a lot of times that doesn't include all the places I'd like to be. So, you know, but again, it's a season of life. So I just patiently wait back. Well, during this process, she wanted her mama again. And even Alan's like, you need to have your mama here. So I remember once she called me and said, I need you here tomorrow. And I'm like, Steve, we got to go. So we dropped everything, and we just kept making these trips back and forth. But on this particular one, we went out, and that's when she won the dance off.
Okay.
And so Alan's like, your mama has to come every time now.
Because you were the good luck charm.
Yeah, because it's just fun sometimes, you
Yeah.
know, just to have, it's like the old days, just to have the two of us, because I was always the cheerleader on the side going, you can do this. Oh my gosh, you're amazing. You're
Share the
beautiful.
hotel room and you were the ultimate hype girl for her.
Yes, and it's genuine.
Yeah.
And with all the kids, I mean, I just think they're so accomplished in everything they do. Like, John has his own business and a family, and Sydney as well. She runs her own business and is the most incredible mother. And it's like, I want to be a champion for them and to tell them the things that maybe no one else will. That's your job as the mama, to look at them and tell them, You're doing a great job. You're a wonderful mother. I'm so proud of you. That's a great meal that you cooked. This is so delicious. Thank you for having us over. Be that person for your children, because if you do that, remember, they get to choose when they have you around. So even if you have little children, remember, eventually they get to choose. So be good to them.
Wow. We are spitting this advice today. My goodness, that is so good for anyone, parenting, mothering. So did you kind of pack up and just go out there and stay, or were you just flying back and forth as needed? Or?
We would go back and forth.
Okay.
So, and Jess was so kind. She, took care of everything for us, because Steve and I wouldn't be able to do that. He's retired Air Force. So she's like, Mom, I'll fly you out. I got your hotel. We're going to do this, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
So it was just so wonderful. I think those moments of even just having a couple nights, and we'd hang at the pool in between her practices, which she would only have a small time. But Steve and I would hang at the pool, and we'd get room service, and we'd get to visit with her, and we'd go to dinner with her. And
I love
it. It did remind us whenever she was a teenager, and we were, because Steve, he would stay back and watch the kids while we made all those trips back and forth to Nashville. Like, this was truthfully a group effort. And when the kids were little, we would tote them everywhere, and they would, watch her perform before the cloggers. I mean, it was a whole thing. It wasn't an easy road. It was a long, hard road, and lots of people made, I don't want to say sacrifices, but it was. That was like something we wanted to do to make sure she could follow her dream. And
I think it does require the entire family to make sacrifices, different size for everyone. But there's definitely, I think, a sacrifice for everyone. This industry and being in the public eye, it impacts the entire family.
It does. And, what I love about it, too, is there weren't complaints, Steve, after working all week, would watch the kids. There were no complaints. He knew that this was important for both of us, for all of us. And sometimes he would come with us too. And the kids were also, they were just so great, and I think that's true for any dream that you have. Like, John wanted to be a ninja, and the girls would tease him because, but I'm like, okay, you want to be a ninja, be a ninja. Put him in classes so he could, learn all that,
Yeah.
But I'm serious. Like, for years, he wanted to be a ninja. And anytime they said anything, I'd say, stop. If he wants to be a ninja, he can be a ninja.
Man.
Right?
Yeah.
Any dream that you have. I think it's so important to nurture it, because you never know. He could have been a ninja. He could have, right?
What is he doing now? He has his own business?
He does.
He's not a
runs
ninja.
company. He is kind of a ninja. He's a ninja in life. But, he runs a fitness company. So,
awesome.
And supplement company. So quite the entrepreneur. I'm like, how do these kids do these things?
It is amazing. And I do think that these kids, and I'd like to think it has something to do with how they were brought up, but they dream way bigger than I ever dreamed. I thought I love that, though. They feel like they can go after it.
Yeah, well, I think you're doing pretty well.
You're sweet.
I think your dreams, you live in that dream, girl.
You're so kind.
But, the dreams that they have, like, I don't know, when you dream those things with them, it's like your dreams come true as well. Isn't it?
Oh, so true. That? Yes, absolutely.
I really do mean that. Like, I wanted to be the best mom that I could be. And we all make mistakes. But I watch, the girls, and Sydney I'm like, my dream's coming true that way, because everything, she has the ability to not have to work. And 100% mom, and this craft and that craft, and I'm taking them here and I'm taking them there, and I'm doing this, and I'm like, woo, girl, you're wearing me out, right? And then Jessica, I wanted to work in the entertainment industry, and, we helped give her that support, and she's living that dream. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's coming through. John having his own company, and just all those things. It's just so wonderful to watch your children succeed in life. I don't care what it is, whether it's with a family or their spirituality, or, spreading joy or love, or, just the word of God, whatever it is, to do those things is just so rewarding as a parent.
I love that. Mm-hmm. You talked about that entrepreneurial spirit in her. I want to hear about Kittenish and how that dream got going. And I guess my first question is, was she always into like fashion and design? She's always, best dressed on the red carpet. She always looks amazing. But was that always kind of a love of hers, and maybe yours as well? Did you get to kind of participate in that dream?
Well, she used to love to sketch when she was younger, and she probably still has some of the sketches of outfits, but it was because she wanted to draw things that she would wear on the red carpet one day.
Oh, my goodness.
So that's where the majority of those came from.
Oh,
and
wow.
also when she was younger, she always needed something to perform in. So we would buy things and then kind of change them up a little bit.
Bedazzle a little or
no,
something?
Not necessarily bedazzle. We weren't those people, but rip them maybe.
Oh, there you go.
With the
Yeah,
tie.
yeah. Maybe add a little edge to them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, she just decided one day she wanted to do that, and met the right people, and it came to fruition, and the dream just kept growing. And you know, I would talk to her and I'd say, Jess, your clothing is beautiful, but I can't wear a lot of those things. And a lot of people, I could see the comments saying, you know, we can't wear all the belly shirts or the, you know, those types of things, and which there's a market for it. And if you can rock it, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I couldn't. So she's like, well, maybe we need to do something together. So that's when we did our collaboration. So for women who were more mature,
But still
or-
want to look good and have
who wanna,
style.
like,
And
cover the bits up and things. And so this is Kittenish MK. And
Oh, what you have
Kittenish.
on now is
Yes,
Kittenish?
this is Mama Karen collaboration with Kittenish.
Amazing. Okay.
So because I wanted to create things that were comfortable, but that you could still dress up or down. But you know, if you want to cover things a little bit more, that are flattering for all body types. So so I was
Thank
able
you
to
for that.
kinda- I know, right?
Yeah, seriously.
So I was able to share in that dream with her through the collection, and that was wonderful. But you know, she's opening stores across the country, and her online presence, and
so
you
this
know,
is still growing. The whole
it is
Kittenish
still growing,
brand.
and there are more things to come that are in the works.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Involved with fashion and Kittenish.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Very much so.
Yeah. Do you like taking part in that? I bet you
I
had fun
love
with
it.
that collaboration.
I do. It's so much fun, and it's fun getting glammed. Because my friends from high school, they were texting me last night, and they're like, "You look so beautiful. I love your look, and you look so natural." And then I send them these little, you know, those gifs. Is that what they're called?
Yeah,
The little
yeah.
pictures of, you know, Elaine making all these funny faces from Seinfeld. I'm like, it's smoke and mirrors. These people are putting all this makeup on me and doing my hair, and they're like, okay, but it's true, you know. So it's fun to get dolled up, and I do enjoy it. I think it's fun, but. For me, more importantly than that is, truthfully, it's about bringing clothing items to women who like struggle. Like, if I didn't have the girls, I wouldn't know what to wear.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. And, you know, I'll send them pictures and go, is this cute? And they're like, no, Mom, don't do that. Put this with that. And, you know, if you don't have a daughter to do that for you or a friend to help you, well, just go to the Kittenish website and look at these pieces. I'm going to show you how to wear them, that they're going to flatter your body and you're going to feel comfortable, because we need to feel comfortable.
Sign me up.
Don't we?
Yes.
Don't we
Oh,
need to feel comfortable
absolutely.
in our own skin at our age?
Yeah.
Well,
Oh,
I mean, you're younger
absolutely.
than I am, but as you get older, like, you want to feel comfortable too.
You have
We're
to
not
fi-
in
and
the
you need
grave
to
yet.
Find those areas. That's exactly right. And you need to find those areas where you can control your clothing. I might not be able to control the lines and the, you know, the grays
I'm
and some
working
of the
on it,
other
but
things, but
get your hair did,
do the
whole
best we
thing.
can. Yeah. What are some of the fun things that you guys have been able to enjoy together?
We have done countless things from the time she was a little girl. Even her singing at the Opry for the first time, and
It's a moment you never forget.
Never forget. And what I love so much about that is, especially in the beginning, Jess always wanted to include me, because it was our dream, you know, for her to get to do this.
Yeah.
And she always wanted to pull me up with her, or if we're walking into an event, she's like, "Come on, Mama," you know, or she'll take me with her when she's singing at anything from an anthem to WrestleMania, and often bring Steve along as well, because she wants him to share in this dream as well and to get to do those fun things. So, I mean, we've gone to Yankee Stadium and, you know, just stood on the sidelines, and things you never think you even dream that you're going to want to do one day, but then it happens. You're like, oh my gosh, I'm here at Yankee Stadium, or I'm in the Field of Dreams where they filmed the Field of Dreams, and I'm watching these players play in these cornfields, and this is so incredible. And sometimes they'll send a plane for her, and so we'll get on the plane, and she'll look at me and she'll go, Mama, you just love this, don't you? And honestly, I was brought up in the projects. Yeah. So, there was times when I didn't have food to eat. And even when the kids were little, there were times when we didn't have food and I didn't eat. And, we had food stamps and WIC and childcare assistance. And I was a full-time student and working 3 jobs. And, I tell them we've been through rougher times than these.
For sure.
And so these really special moments like that, I'm like, I can't believe this.
You and I grew up very similarly. And to think about that, I do feel very strongly, though, that it is what has contributed to being grateful for every moment, for living in the moment, Absolutely. For just having a different appreciation for the small things and the Absolutely. Things that matter, to be able to, celebrate the successes. And they do mean even more when you haven't had all of that.
I know, and even when you're hungry, And I know plenty of people are struggling today and have it far worse than ever did, but it was real. Like it was, we were flung into the actual projects in Baton Rouge, and all 5 of us, and with our mom, and I'm the youngest of 5 kids, and so I spoke earlier of my Maw Maw, and she would have to come there and leave her sisters in Independence, Louisiana, and stay with us while my mom worked as a nurse. And there were very, very hard times, and I had holes in my shirt, but these things make you stronger. And like you said, make you appreciate every little thing in life. And that's why I'm like, hey, everything might not be the way you have dreamt that it would be. But boy, look at all those other blessings you have. Yeah. And can't change your circumstance, change your attitude. If you are able to do that every single day of your life, you'll be happy. And I think all of that comes from that faith-based, everything is faith-based for me. So my mama also instilled that in me, So no matter where you are in your life, if you can pray and be in that moment of being grateful for the things you have, say the things that you want, pray for the exact things you want. There's nothing wrong with that. Have gratitude, then you'll always find happiness. Even at my darkest hours, I knew that if I prayed, I felt better, because there's hope in prayer. Right?
Absolutely.
Hope and faith.
Yeah.
And so, and that holds true for any dream that someone might have out there that's listening, and they're like, well, I want to be a singer. Well, have faith, have hope, pray about it, work hard, and be good to your mama.
And that's a wrap. Okay, that was so much fun. Is she not the best? Thanks so much to Karen for joining us and for sharing all of that incredible advice. And just a quick thank you to all of you for supporting the podcast. If you don't mind, take a second to subscribe to Got It From My Mama, rate the podcast, and leave us a comment. While you're here, be sure to tell us which mama you want to hear from. Take care, everybody.